Yeah. In the FIDEC. Hit the DIDEC. We are in the house tonight. Let me get my notes out. Hmm. We are in effect tonight. It is Monday. Basketball season is amongst us. Week 1 is over. The basketball season has officially started. All right? What's going on? I've seen some good things this week. I've seen some shaky things this week. So, Brando, what's up? How you doing, brother? Zay, how you doing? J-Rob, what's going on, brother? I appreciate it. Thank you very much, my man. Milwaukee Mac, what's up, brother? Did you see it? What'd you think? Hello, Julian dear. How are you? I was specifically waiting to talk to you, Jill. Yes, I was specifically waiting to talk to you because I am not happy right now. And the reason why I'm not happy is because I had to sit through that garbage that I watched a couple of nights ago with your Philadelphia 76ers losing to the San Antonio Spurs. They had no business losing to them. None whatsoever. Give me a break, Jill. There was no way that they should have lost to them dudes. None. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. Joe doesn't look – it was bad, Jill. Joe doesn't look as aggressive as I would like him to look. He doesn't look mean as he did. I think that we're going to get – I think that we're going to get into midseason form soon. But I think the problem is I think the problem is we looking at a group in Philadelphia that's still trying to figure it out, which is bothering me still. Is San Antonio better than what I think they are? Huh. I'm wondering if San Antonio is better than what I think they are. I don't know, because there are people who said to me that San Antonio is the worst team in the league. I watched that game, and they didn't look that bad. They did not look terrible. I don't know. I don't think that they're a playoff team, but they didn't look terrible. Now, everybody's healthy. It's the beginning of the season. What up, Solo? How you doing, brother? It's the beginning of the season. Everybody's healthy. You still got guys trying to figure guys out. I'm looking at this Philadelphia team and James Harden being a distributor that he is. I think Tobias Harris is going to have to pick it up more in transition, more than anything. Because I think Tobias Harris can knock down open shots in the half court. James Harden creates a lot of offense for him. But I think that he can get better in transition. Definitely think that he can get better in transition. I'm looking forward to the dynamic between Harden and Embiid simply because, we got the whole season to get together, right? We got the whole season to get together, and we got the whole season to get this thing figured out. And I think that him and James Harden and Embiid, they're on the same page. That effort needs to be there. And there are stretches where it's not there. And it's too early in the season to be talking about effort. Everybody's healthy. Not only is everybody healthy, the logic that our schemes, we're still figuring those out, that logic doesn't work. Because we went over all of this in training camp. And not only did we go over all of this in training camp, the San Antonio Spurs, it's not like they're a bomb squad and they've been together for 5 or 6 years. They just got – that team is basically – their best player is gone. So With that being said, I'm looking at Philadelphia, and to have a San Antonio team, I'm not going to say undermanned, but in terms of talent, they are superior. This is why, Jillian, I've said this countless times to you. Not to you, not to you specifically, but I've said this about people trying to sell me better basketball player, greatest. Because I've seen better basketball players get outplayed. I've seen better basketball teams get outplayed. I've seen that. So I don't think that I'm going to see that kind of effort from the Philadelphia 76ers again. I mean, that's one game that I think that's one game that they would love to have back. There's no way he sat on the couch all summer. There's no way he could have done that, Jill. Even though he does look a little bit in better shape than he did last year. 40 black, 45 black. What's up, brother? You think he looks terrible? I don't know if he looks terrible, Jill. I just think that something is going on in Philadelphia, man. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know. I wish I could say I knew, Jill, but I don't know. Something's going on in Philadelphia. Do you think it has something to do with him not winning the league MVP? Because he was very disappointed about that. Don't forget, also, Jill, not only did he not win the league MVP, and like you said, he doesn't look motivated. If you remember a couple of years back when I think he finished third in the league in Defensive Player of the Year, and he thought that he was the Defensive Player of the Year, has he been that defensive? Has he been that good defensively since then? I think that was in 2018. 2018. It was him, Anthony Davis, and Giannis. It was him, Anthony Davis, and Giannis, where they were up for the Defensive Player of the Year. Or either him, Rudy, and Giannis. One of those three. So the fact that he lost the league MVP, I think that might have something to do with him not being motivated, which is ironic because I would think that would motivate him more, that the fact that I didn't win it last year and I came in second twice. Right? I came in second twice, so maybe, just maybe. It was Rudy, AD, and Embiid. Okay, I thought it was. So the year before that, it was. Okay, I got you. I'm with you. I am with you. Yeah. So I gotta put my finger on what's going on in Philadelphia, man. I really do. I gotta put my finger on what's going on in Philadelphia because I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't. I'd be lying if I said I did, because I don't. I do not like what I see. What's going on in Philadelphia? Like I said, they ain't had no business losing. No business losing to no damn San Antonio at home. No business losing to no San Antonio at home. No way. That San Antonio team, I don't think that they're terrible, but they got no business losing to them. No. And I know it was, and I know that they had just come off. San Antonio had just come off a back-to-back, which, we all know that when you're dealing with back-to-backs, it could get tricky, right? It could get tricky, but I mean, they had a balanced attack. I don't know if to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm sleeping on Keldon Johnson. Should I be? Right? I don't know. I really don't know what to do with him. Am I sleeping on him? Man, I really don't know what to do with Keldon Johnson. Damian Lillard does look amazing. And I said this before the season started, and I still stand on my logic that I think that Damian Lillard, what happened with Damian Lillard was he got hurt. And because he got hurt, he kind of fell out of sight. And there were some guys who, for lack of a better term, leapfrogged him. The Portland Trailblazers weren't that good. Not only were they not that good, not only were they not that good, but he was out of the limelight. I mean, he was out of the lineup, not the limelight. He was out of the lineup. And in the process of him being out of the lineup, Josh showed up. Trey got better. Luka got better. Jason Tatum got better. All of these guys got better. So in the process of that happening, Dame kind of fell by the wayside and people forgot about him when he still has the goods. And this Trailblazer team, I still think that they're on the outside looking in. I think they're an 8-9 seed, but that's going to be on the strength of him. He plays himself back into the top 10 this year. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I'm 100% confident in that. We did, Julian. We had the Spurs as garbage. Before the season started, we thought that the Spurs would be garbage. No doubt about that. I don't know if Ohtani deserves his own award, but I don't really see – when you think about MVP, because in baseball, they don't do it like football. They don't do it like basketball. There is no in-between. In football, it's the best player on the best team. In basketball, it's a multitude of things. In baseball, it's the best player, period. And I don't know if there's a better player in the American League than Ohtani. I don't know. I do not know if there's a better team, if there's a better player than Ohtani. So you got Keldon as most improved. I got Colin Sexton, but Keldon looked really good. He does. He looks really good. Philly's rotation is not good. This dude, Keyshawn, is really trying to – I don't know if you're trying to sell me the Jazz more than you just trying to prove me wrong. I think that's what it is more than anything. I don't think you're really trying to sell me the Jazz. I don't think you care 1 millimeter about the Jazz. I think it's more of you trying to prove me wrong more than anything. You have no investment in the Jazz. You couldn't care less about the Jazz. In fact, all this summer when we talked, in the offseason when we talked, you didn't say a word to me about the Utah Jazz. Not one word. I think it's more I need to be wrong and you need to be right more than this is about the Jazz. I got it. I do understand that. I get it. You would trade Okoro, King? For who? Who you trading Okoro for? I missed it. I'm sorry. Why would Embiid start to talk trade? They built the unit around him. He has underperformed in the playoffs numerous times. So, if anything, they would be looking to trade him because maybe they got the best years that they could get out of him. Jabari Smith is my rookie of the year. 45. What's your problem with James Harden? I mean, he did go 30. What he went 31-9 against Milwaukee. He didn't do anything against San Antonio. I'm not gonna lie about that. There is some inconsistencies there, but what's your issue with him? No, I can get with that, King. I'm not sure that I would. I love marking. I love marking on that Cleveland unit right now. I love him on that unit. Love him. At the small forward, the Euro playing the 3. Oh, I love him at that spot. Markin looks to me in that Utah system. He kind of reminds me of like a cross between Detlef and Tony Kukoc in that system. So to watch him on that Cleveland team with Darius Garland, now the thing I have a problem with Cleveland is, and I already know this ain't news. This ain't like, yo, what are you talking about, OG? I already knew that Donovan Mitchell is a volume shooter. Right? Donovan Mitchell is a volume shooter. We all know that. And I know that Markin isn't a 3-man, but I think he plays the 4. But to be honest with you, he does play some 3. He played some 3 up in Chicago. But with that being said, we already had this discussion about Donovan Mitchell being a volume scorer, a volume shooter. And the thing that concerns me and the thing that's going to cost these guys games is just that. When I watched him 2 nights ago against Washington, last night against Washington, yo, he took 29 shots, man. 29 shots. Evan Mobley took 7 shots. Evan Mobley went 2 for 7. He's not getting involved in the offense as much as he should. Now, I know that they're looking for Donovan Mitchell because they probably look at him like, yo, you're our guy offensively. I don't want that to take away from what Evan Mobley brings. I don't want that to take away from what Darius Garland brings. I don't want that to happen, B. That's the thing that I'm concerned with. Christian Wood in Dallas. Luka has the ability to make a bunch of people who are average look even better. And the reason why Luka has that ability is because of the attention that he draws offensively. Not only the attention that he draws offensively, the fact that he's responsible for so many other people's offense, how much he can play make for other people, how much he can get other people open shots, how good he is in transition and his ability to distribute. You really don't have to do much when you're playing with Luka. Now, the question is when we get further into the season, I mean, they're still trying to get acclimated to each other. Because Christian Wood is essentially, when he was in Houston, he was playing with a bunch of young guys who were trying to establish themselves. With this group right here, he doesn't really have to do much. Rim run, rebound, and if he can knock down that mid-range, that would help them out tremendously. But Christian Wood as a one-on-one player, I'm not sold on Christian Wood as a one-on-one player. Not at all. So it's still early. I still think that Dallas is a play-in team. Not only do I think Dallas is a play-in team, I think Memphis is a play-in team. I think that losing Jaren Jackson, their defense has suffered tremendously for that. I think they've given up like 115, something like that a game. And they were much better defensively when Ja was off the floor and Jaren Jackson was on the floor. They were much better defensively when that was going on. Now, with that being said, I hear people saying to me, well, you know, Ja's going to end up as the MVP. Well, is Ja going to hold up? That's the $1 million question. Because Ja got a lot of luggage to carry on that unit. Just defensively. Like, you can't, if you think that in the Western Conference you're just going to be able to outscore people, that's not that you're not going to be able to just outscore people. Keyshawn, you want to talk about it? Sure. And again, we just started the season. The season didn't end today. We just started the season. The Warriors, Phoenix, Denver, the Clippers, Minnesota, Memphis. There you go right there. And I see what's going on with the Lakers. I think that Dallas is in that 7, 8, 9 spot. That's where I think that they are. No, it's not, King. No, it is not. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Here is the difference. In Memphis they did just beat Memphis by like 35 or something like that, almost 40. They did beat them, no doubt about that. But even if, let's just say for the sake of argument, they're not a playing team. They're the 6th seed, which is where they've been in the last 3 years. That's as good as they are. That's it. I don't think the Trailblazers. I think the Trailblazers are a playing team. They're Dame and Dame only. Their entire as good as Anthony Simons is, who I dig, by the way, as good as he is, I think that Grant is a solid, I'm not rotation guy, but I think he's a number 4. But I think that when I look at this Trailblazer team, they are heavily dependent on Dame Lillard, heavily. So I think that Dallas, Trailblazers, New Orleans, and the Lakers, those 4 teams are going to be play-in teams. And it's only 2 spots. Those 4 teams. King, what don't you like about the Jazz? I mean, about Denver. What's your problem with them? What's your? I'm just wondering, King. What's your issue with Denver? What don't you? When you watch Denver, what is making you go? 7, 8, 9 sounds realistic. I think Luka could heavily carry them to a 3-4 seed. If Luka carries the Dallas Mavericks to a 3 or 4 seed, he's the league MVP. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You don't have to give me the Suns. You don't. I watched the Suns last night. They're much better than they were last year. Much better. No, I want to get to the bottom because me and King had this conversation. We've had a couple of conversations about this. They depend only on Jokic. Well, I don't know if that's true. Murray's come back this season, and I think Murray's going to be better. Right? MPJ is coming back. I think this is prove-it years for them. I think Bones Highland, he's been a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. I don't know if Bones is a starter, but he's been a lot better. He's been a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. A lot better. So, Aaron Gordon, the fact of having Murray and MPJ on the floor, that opens up so much more offense for the rest of those guys. And it makes Joker so much better. I don't know why you're looking at them as being overrated, because with Joker as their primary playmaker and ball handler, right? With Joker with Joker as their primary playmaker and ball handler, and they get a lot of action off the basketball, that opens up so much more offense for Joker. That opens up so much more offense for Aaron Gordon. I'm not loving the fact that they don't have a lead guard, but the fact that KCP comes off the bench and he gives them solid minutes, I think Denver's one of the best teams in the Western Conference, maybe a top 3 seeded. That's where I have them at. Yeah, I watched the Clippers and the Suns last night. I watched the Lakers and the Trailblazers, which, despite what you guys are thinking, that Laker team isn't as bad as you guys think they are. Anthony Davis actually looks really good. And the pick and pop, pick and dive action that they get with him, that works. And it works to perfection. Defensively, the Lakers are so much better than they were last year. They're not even close to what they were last year. Defensively, the effort is there. Anthony Davis is looking to me like he might be an all-league defender again. He looks like he's getting back to that. But he does look to me like he's playing not to get hurt. That's what he looks like more than anything. He looks like he's playing not to get hurt. And because he plays like that, we all know, guys, if you think you're going to get hurt, what's going to happen? If you think you're going to get hurt, what's going to happen? Well, they need that, though, King. It's not that they have no defense. No, that's not true, King. What they have is him as their anchor on defense. He's their rim protector. He mans the paint. He's perfect for what they're doing right now. The problem that we having is their ability to shoot the basketball. Pardon me. They stick to what's going on with the long ball. They stick to that. Now, remember who in you said it yourself. They got no wing defenders. Well, let's talk about who they just played. They just played the world champion Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, who's stopping? I mean, they just played the world champion Golden State Warriors. Who's slowing down Klay Thompson and Steph Curry on that unit? I mean, that's number one. Then they got to play the Clippers with Paul George and Leonard on the wings, and then they got to deal with Damian Lillard. So, with all of that being said, they still got the number 2 rated defense in the league. And the reason why they got the number 2 rated defense in the league is because they basically gang defend, which is what they have to do. Which is what they have to do. It does take time. They treated the Lakers as an exhibition. I don't know about that. I mean, that was a good game, Taylor. What are you talking about? I think they held them to 103 points. That wasn't an exhibition. Are you suggesting because Leonard came off the bench that they weren't serious? They were dead serious. I thought the Lakers did a really good job at dealing with them, even though they did lose. The problem isn't defensively. I know that for a fact with them. I mean, who? And I'm glad you mentioned that, King. He was cooking. But it's Dame Lillard, right? And not only is it Dame Lillard, this is the Dame Lillard who's about to show everybody I was a top 10 player. So let me get back to that. Add that to the fact that, a lot of the shots that he hit, I mean, he did go, I think he shot 60% and almost 50% on the long ball. A lot of the shots that he hit were tough shots. A lot of them. Dame had that groove going where you're not going to be able to slow him down once he gets the ball. So you're going to have to keep the ball away from him. That's the only way that's going to work. That's the only way that's going to work. And I thought that Lonnie made him make a bunch of tough shots. A bunch of tough shots. So there is some light with the Lakers defensively. Offensively, I like what I see with James and AD. When AD plays in a high post, AD is diving to the basket, and AD is working on that mid-range. I like what I'm seeing from AD defensively. I do not like what I see with this team shooting the long ball. It's not going to work. No. Not going to work. They're not banking on Dame going for 40 every night. No team is doing that. No team. There's no team in the NBA that's banking on one guy going for 40. Because if that's true, then you need to check, number one, your coaching staff. Number two, you need to check your schemes. Because if we got one dude scoring 40, we don't have anything else. All we doing is giving this dude the ball and getting out the way. That's not going to work. It's not. One or two things is going to happen. That's less difficult to guard because we're going to gang up on him. And nobody else is doing anything. And he's ultimately going to break down. So I'll tell you who not the MVP, Steven. Ja's not league MVP. How are we going to talk about Ja being league MVP and his team lost by 42 nights ago? They got blown out, Steven. Come on, man. They lost by 40. How are we talking about a dude being the league MVP and his team lost by 40? Come on, Steven, man. Don't do that to me, yo. Come on, man. Don't do that to me, man. Please. To get blown out by 40 and you want to talk about him being the league MVP? Come on, man. And a lot of that has to do with I didn't think that the Clippers were toying with the Lakers. I don't. I like Leonard coming off the bench, and I like the good thing about what the Clippers are doing is the fact that they got so much depth that they could ease Leonard into the starting lineup. Like, he doesn't have to play heavy minutes right out the gate. He doesn't have to do that. We could bring him along slow, and it's going to work, right? It's going to work because they got so many other guys who are really good, really good. So last year, you watched your Celtics blow out Joker at home by 25. He had 14 points. What does that mean? It means that the reigning league MVP didn't do much. And by the way, last year when your team, that last year, Joker was the reigning league MVP. Don't leave that part out. Why is Ja the league MVP? Why is he even in consideration, Steven? Talk to me about why Ja Morant is in consideration for league MVP. And before you tell me that, hold on for a second, Steve. Before you tell me that, right? I'm going to run down to you the last 5 league MVPs. What are we in? We're in 2022. So 17. Who was the league MVP in 17? Russell Westbrook. Who was the league MVP in 18? James Harden. Who was the league MVP in 19? Giannis. Who was the league MVP in 20? Giannis. Who was the league MVP in 21? Joker. Now, with the exception of Russell Westbrook in 17, right? With the exception of Russell Westbrook in 17 and Joker last year, every last one of those teams were in the top half. Not in the top half, in the top 3 in the Western Conference. I'm having a difficult time seeing Memphis finish in the top 3 this year. That's number 1. Number 2, those guys who won league MVP, they were doing ridiculous work on teams that were 60-win teams. 60. How bad that Memphis defense is without Jaren Jackson. How bad that Memphis defense is without Jaren Jackson. You telling me that team is a top 3 seed in the West? And let's just say, for the sake of argument, they're not. Let's say that they're the 5th seed. Do you have Ja doing what Russell Westbrook did, where he went 32, 11, and 10, or what Joker did when Joker went 26, 14, and 7? Is that what you telling me that Ja is doing? Yes? I would say Jason Tatum over Ja. Jason Tatum for league MVP. If you asking me between the two of those guys, Jason Tatum and Ja Morant, Jason Tatum. He's on a better team. He's on a better defensive team. He's been better offensively. Not better offensively. He's on a better team. He's on a better defensive team. Add that to the fact that he's been playing great, and he's he's one of the main reasons why his team is at the top of the Eastern Conference. So, and there's no reason for me to believe that he can't keep this up. None. What is it about Jaylen Brown? Why did you like Jaylen Brown over Tatum? I'm because King does this to me all the time, yo. He does. So if let's say we took Jason Tatum off that unit and we put a lesser guy on that unit, what do you think happens to the Boston Celtics? And before you answer that, King, right? Before you answer that question, I want you to remember Jaylen Brown went out of the lineup last year, right? Jaylen Brown went out of the lineup last year. Jason Tatum was 31-8. And I believe that they won. I believe they were 8 games over 500 with Jason Tatum and without Jaylen Brown. So you tell me, King, what that means. I just told you what happens if Brown was off the team. Last season is a prime example. Jaylen Brown was off. Jaylen Brown was out of the lineup, and he was out of the lineup for 10 games. With him being out of the lineup for those games, Jason Tatum went 31-8, and they had a winning record. So if you take Jason Tatum off that crew, they have 4 seed. All right. I can't believe that we actually having this conversation that Jaylen. So answer this question for me, guys, because you're telling me that you'll take Jaylen Brown over Jason Tatum. Where do you think Jaylen Brown is in terms of players? Is Jaylen Brown a top 15 player in the NBA? You think he's a top 15 player in the NBA, King? Okay, so I'm gonna run off some guys. Let's see here. I'm gonna run off some guys. Giannis, Joker, Luka, Embiid, Curry, James, KD. Nope, James, Tatum, KD, buckets. Trey, as of right now. Dame. No, I'm sorry, not Trey. I'm sorry. Devin Booker. Dame. Trey. Donovan Mitchell. Bradley Beal. Siakam. So Jaylen Brown is the top 10 player then, King. If you saying that he's over Tatum, if you saying that he's over Tatum, you're telling me that Jaylen Brown is a top 10 player in the NBA. That's what you're telling me. I can't forget about him. DeRozan, correct. Who else am I thinking about? I said Siakam. Bam. Cat. Who else am I thinking about? AD. That's like 18 guys. So with that being said, if you got him over Jason Tatum right now, while we're in here, you're telling us, while we're in here right now, you're telling us Jaylen Brown is a top 10 player in the NBA. That's what you're telling us. I just gave you 15 guys, and the only guy that you said he was over, you said that he was over Tatum. You told me that he was over Tatum. So if he's over Tatum, that means that he's a top 10 player. So he's number 15. So let me make sure I get this correct. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. Giannis, Joker, Luka, Embiid, Curry, James, Tatum, KD, buckets, Book, Trey, Dame, DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, over Siakam, over Cat. Over Brandon Ingram, over Kyrie Irving. These are all. Siakam was an all-pro, King. What are we talking about? What are you trying to sell me, man? Siakam was an all-pro. Do you care about now? This is what I need to understand from you, King, because again, the lines are getting blurred. The lines are getting blurred here. What are we talking about? Are we talking about from a talent standpoint or from a production standpoint? Are we talking about that? I didn't even bring up James Harden. No, I didn't bring up James Harden. I didn't bring up Anthony Davis. So as a player, that's what we're talking about. Just a basketball player. I don't do that, King, and you know that I don't do that. You know I don't, because I've seen better basketball players get outplayed. So I don't care about you as a basketball player. What I care about is, what have you produced? I care about you as a basketball player, but I also care about what have you produced. And of those guys that I named, you're telling me that Jaylen Brown is better than Siakam, who was a number 3, proven on the championship unit. All of them dudes are gone. Kyle Lowry is gone. Leonard is gone. He still made the All-Pro team last year. Still made the All-Pro team. You telling me that that Jaylen Brown better than him? Still better than him? What are you basing that on? I ain't forget about Klay Thompson. I didn't forget about him. I didn't say Leonard. I didn't say Paul George. I didn't say none of them dudes. I'm having a difficult time naming. I'm having a difficult time. You talking about 15 to 20 guys ahead of Jaylen Brown. 15 to 20. Jaylen Brown was All-NBA if he didn't get hurt. Over who? Who is coming off that list? Because remember, it's 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. So the 2 guards on the first team All-Pro, if I'm not mistaken, let me go back and do some homework really quick, because if I remember correctly, first team All-Pro was Jason Tatum, Luka, Jason Tatum and Luka, Devin Booker, Joker. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving somebody out. Steph wasn't first team All-Pro. He was second team All-Pro. I'm leaving somebody out. Oh, and Giannis. I'm sorry. Those were the 5 guys who were first team All-Pro. Then the second team All-Pro, I believe it was Chris Paul and Steph. Chris Paul and Steph. The forwards were KD and James. James was third team All-NBA. That's not true. And Jaylen Brown is a shooting guard. So the guards were Devin Booker, Steph, Trey, Devin Booker and Luka, Steph and Trey, and I think Trey was third team All-NBA. He wasn't second team All-NBA. DeRozan, he over a dude that went 29-9. Jaylen Brown is over a guy. You can't give me legit logic on how Jaylen Brown is better than a guy who went almost 30-10. Please give me legit logic right here, King. So Chris Paul was third team. Okay, I thought Chris Paul was second team. Steph was second team with who? Him and DeRozan? Oh, DeRozan choked in the playoffs against the defending NBA champs, huh? Is that right? Even though DeRozan took that team and threw him on his back that was decimated by injury. That's your logic? Ja was second team. DeRozan was first. No, DeRozan was not first team. Book was first team, and Luka was first team. Those were the guards. Book and Luka. Jaylen Brown did not dominate Milwaukee. That is not true. If I'm not mistaken, in the elimination game, did Jason Tatum not have 46? Did he not do that? Did he not have 46 in the elimination game? He dominated them? Give me a break. Give me a break. What you haven't done is you still not selling me that Jaylen Brown is a top 15 player. You still haven't sold me that. You still haven't sold me that. So what you're trying to sell me is you're trying to sell me that Jaylen Brown played better in the finals, so he's now a top 10 player. That's what you're trying to sell me, that Jaylen Brown, you're trying to sell me that Jaylen Brown, who played better than Jason Tatum did in the finals, he's a top 10 player. And he's over Trey, who went almost 30-10 last year and basically threw his team on his back and took them to the playoffs. Because Atlanta's Oklahoma City without Trey. Oklahoma City. That's who they are. But you're telling me This is what you're telling me. My God, excuse me. What up, 217? How you doing? I'm still trying to get to the this whole logic of him being top 15, and you basing this on him as a basketball player. If he didn't get hurt, he would have been all NBA, but he did. Did I see Ticket in here? What up, Ticket? How you doing, brother? What's going on with you? For top 15 player, no. Jaylen Brown is not a top 15 player in the NBA. Top 20, we can have a discussion about that. No doubt about that. But top 15, nah. No way is Jaylen. I'm not gonna say no way, but Jaylen Brown is not a top 15 player in the NBA. Not today, he's not. Nope. I'm looking at the guys on his team. I'm looking at the guys in not just the Eastern Conference. Not just the Eastern Conference, but the rest of the league. And Paul George is not a two guard. Paul George is a small forward. DeMar DeRozan's best seasons are at the two. Y'all not selling me that DeMar DeRozan is a power forward. He played the two. He's always been a two. He'll always be a two. Y'all not trying to sell me this logic. Nah. Like I said, I'll take top 25. Definitely. I'll get you. You can have that one. But top 15, nah. He is not that good. No. I don't think so. Not happening. Yeah, we do. Hey, Ticket, I already know that George Gervin finished second in league MVP votes 2 straight years. I know how awesome George Gervin was. But with that also being said, the competition that he had to deal with was not the same competition like what KD had to deal with. My top 10 in the NBA today, as of right now, Giannis, Joker, Luka, Embiid, Curry, James, Tatum, KD, buckets, Booker. That's my top 10 right now. Dame is going to play his way back into, before the season's over, Dame is a top 10 player. Solidified. He's right back in the top 10 before the season is over. Before the season is over, Dame is a top 10. He's right back where he was 2 years ago, where he was around that 7, 8. I think Leonard plays himself back into the top 10 this year too. No doubt about it. Leonard and Dame both play themselves back into the top 10. No doubt about it. No question. We just got started, and Dame is here to remind people that I know you forgot about me last year because I got hurt and my team wasn't very good, but I'm healthy and I'm getting back to work. So pay attention. What they're doing with Leonard and with the Clippers is they're easing him back into the lineup because they loaded. They got a good team, even though Phoenix handled them last night. I watched Phoenix handle them last night, no doubt about it. Phoenix ran a lot of sets where they spread the off. Not only did they spread the offense, they got a lot of stuff going to the basket. And the reason why they got a lot of stuff going to the basket, because the Clippers don't have a rim protector. Zubac is not that dude to protect the rim. No. So because of that, they got a lot of stuff going to the basket. And the reason why they got a lot of stuff going to the basket is the exact same reason why the Lakers can't get anything going to the basket. Because Book plays in the mid-range. Mikal Bridges plays in the mid-range. Shamet plays in the mid-range. And when those dudes play in the mid-range and they're as effective and they are as effective as they are, right? And they are as effective as they are, that inflates the defense. And when I say that inflates the defense can't just stay back where the rim is. Now you got to honor the mid-range. That gives us more opportunity to get to the basket in one-on-one situations and finish. So, what do you mean Leonard didn't play last night? I watched him play last night. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm not going crazy. Hope, listen, I know everybody else is in your ear. There are some positives. There are some positives here with your Lakers. There are. Contrary to what you see, there are some. There are some. Right. He didn't play that much. And the reason why he didn't play that much is because they're easing him back into the lineup. And the reason why they're easing him back into the lineup is because they got guys that can cover for him. Now, we can't do this all season. Like, he's going to have to play, like playing 50 games, that's not enough. No, that is not enough. He's going to have to play. The reason why it's okay now is because it's the beginning of the season. But when we get into December, we get into January, we get into the dog days of the season, he's going to have to play more. Because that Western Conference is going to be a nightmare. So you're talking about a third seed that, you know, if Leonard doesn't play 2-3 games, we could in a week, we could go from being the third seed to the 7th seed and being in the playing tournament. That could happen. That could very well happen. AD is not looking terrible. You bugging on that, yo. You are bugging on that, Sebastian. No, he does not look terrible. Oh, you mean the Lakers still looking terrible? Okay, I can get with that. But here's the thing. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys are terrible, man. I think that there are some bright spots. There are some bright spots, man. There are. Charlie, first of all, Charlie, you're emotional. Not only are you emotional, you're not objective when it comes to Curry. And you going off the fact that he won the NBA championship and he was the finals MVP, which I have to put him in the top 5. No doubt about that. I have to put him in the top 5. The fact that he led the league in scoring the year before, and then they won the NBA championship and he was the finals MVP, I got to put him in the top 5. However, I mean, Embiid finished second in the league twice. He finished second in league MVP votes in the last 2 seasons. He would have won it the year, but not last year, but the year before, had he not gotten hurt and missed 11 games. He underperformed in the playoffs. Yes, he did. Definitely underperformed in the playoffs, but led the league in scoring last year. What, he went 30 and 11? I'm having a difficult time with that. Well, here's the thing, Hoop. What's the expectation for this crew? Now, I know that a lot of people are telling me, yo, the Lakers are championship or bust. Well, this roster isn't built that way. This roster is not built that way. Defensively, you guys are built to be a playoff team. I think defensively you are, no doubt about that. Offensively, we have some struggles and we have some issues. We have major issues. Major. One of the main issues is 33 long balls. The game before that against the Clippers, 42 long balls. The game before that against the Warriors, 41 long balls. We ain't good enough to shoot the long ball at that rate. We don't have that personnel to do that. We do not. No, we do not. We do not have the personnel to shoot the long ball like that. No. There is no so learn to shoot it. James been in the league 20 years. 20 years he been in the league. Give me a break. trade Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield. Let me ask you a question, Sebastian. Why hasn't that trade happened? That trade's been on the table since I've been talking to you. Why hasn't that happened? What's the problem? That's a good question. But you pulled the trigger on Anthony Davis, and you gave, not only did you give up all your young assets, you gave up those picks too. And the reason why you did that is because there is no tomorrow with James. We're trying to win right now. So if that's the case, why are we holding up the line? You already did it with AD, and it worked. You won the NBA championship. So what's the problem here? Now, I've already come up with the somebody brought this to me, and it actually makes sense, but there's no way that Miami would go for it. If you called up the Miami Heat and asked for Duncan Robinson in exchange for Russell Westbrook, there's no way that the Heat are doing that. But it's worth a shot, though. It's definitely worth a shot to do it. James is not asking out. James is not asking to be traded. No. And there's no way no. They're not doing that. No. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I love Clarkson. Does Clarkson stretch the D like that? He's just more buckets, right? That's who Clarkson really is. He's just buckets. I mean, does he really? Because that's what the Lakers game is. I mean, 42 threes, 41 threes, 33 threes. I mean, what's this really about with the Lakers? To get Clarkson on the crew, what are we trying to do here? We're not trying to stretch the D. Clarkson is more of a, I know you are, Hoop. Clarkson is more of a one-on-one player more than anything. More than anything he is. Now, the Brooklyn Nets ain't giving up on him. No, they're not. Mm-mm. Garbage, Charlie. Trash. Garbage. Oh, my God. To watch these dudes, man, it's incredible. That's exactly why it's being packed. And to just look at this unit like we're going to eat any production that you guys have on the wing. Any long balls you guys try to shoot, knock yourself out. You can have this all night. Go ahead, man. If I'm not mistaken, Matt Ryan, he wasn't even in the rotation last year in Boston. And this is the guy who the Lakers are depending on to make them a better long ball shooting team. I don't know. Most people are just watching the Lakers because of James. Most people are watching the Lakers just because of James. He don't want to play the 5 though, Steven. He doesn't. And he's made that abundantly clear more than once, more than twice. But the difference though is, Steven, here's the thing. With watching him play in the mid-post, like for example, when they go zone, or not even when they go zone, with him and James in the pick and dive, man, they look really good. Really good. Nah, Hoops, you better get back on with AD. He don't suck, yo. He doesn't. He might look a little gingerly. He might run a little gingerly. Yeah, he might do that because I think a lot of that has to do with him I think a lot of that has to do with him worrying about getting hurt. And you and I both know this. If you worried about getting hurt, you're gonna get hurt. And watching Anthony Davis, he looks to me like a guy who he plays like he's afraid to get hurt. He doesn't play like, yo, I'm out here to rock. I'm out here to rock. He's not playing like that. He's playing like, I don't want to get hurt because I don't want to hear the nonsense. Jason Tatum, the MVP. He's getting close to being unguardable. Nazir, do you remember? I don't know if you follow me on TikTok, but I said this. What are we in? October? This was maybe in February. So we probably about 7, 8 months in. I said in a year, 2 years tops, Jason Tatum is going to be in the MVP conversation, and we're going to have a serious conversation about him being the best player in the game. I said that, and I got laughed at. And the reason why I got laughed at is because of Luka. The reason why I got laughed at is because of Giannis. And Jason Tatum looks so much better defensively. He looks more polished offensively, right? He looks more polished offensively. He looks better defensively, and he's getting better. Siakam owns Tatum. Does he? Word? Siakam owns him? Word? Are you trying to be funny? Or is there something that I don't know? Is that what it is? I just want to make sure that I ain't bugging out, Steven. Because, I mean, if you're serious about that, can you come up to the front of the congregation and give us some logic on that? I mean, if that's your guy, then bet. All right, I can get with that. If that's your guy, I can get with that, no problem. But to say he owns him? That's super wild right there. I ain't saying that's wild. I'm saying that's super wild. Matthew, welcome to the show, my man. Good to meet you. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, nice to meet you, my man. Welcome to the show. Yo, it's about that time. Joker over Luka. Yes, Prince. Joker over Luka. 2-time league MVP. He had a ridiculous season last year. The year before that, he had his team in the 3rd seed. His team got decimated by injury, and he's been better all around. Luka took his team a little bit further, but he didn't do anything that Joker didn't do. Joker took his team to the West Finals 2 years ago. So, Joker over Giannis, nah, that's not happening. I'm not buying that logic. What are my thoughts on Ryan getting benched? So you see, get Matt Ryan off my TV. How many times have I told you that? So you see? How many times have I told you that? Get Matt Ryan off my TV. I felt like that since 2019. Get Matt Ryan off my TV. I'm over him. Matt Ryan was awesome for a stretch. Not that Matt Ryan. Not the Matt Ryan with the Lakers. No. Get Matt Ryan off my TV. I've been saying it. Matt Ryan was a great quarterback, Sebastian. He's not a great quarterback anymore. The Indianapolis Colts dropped the ball with this. How did they drop the ball? Because they started this thing with Carson Wentz and recognized that going with a vet quarterback didn't work. So instead of drafting a young quarterback and building it around him, no. What you do is you double down, and I'm going to go get an older quarterback. I'm going to go get an older quarterback, and I'm going to see how this works. No. No way. Get Matt Ryan off my TV, yo. I ain't playing with you. Get him off my TV. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is too. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is too. I think Heineke is better for that system, but so, all right, guys, it's about that time for me. It was good to see you guys tonight. We're going to do it again soon. The NBA season is upon us. I will keep dropping my nuggets as much as I can. I'll drop them like every couple of days. Give them to you as much as I possibly can. Drop those golden nuggets for you. Hopefully I'm giving you what you want. It's good to see you guys. We'll do it again soon. But until then, take it light. But take it.